I am thoroughly enjoying this MAGA civil war right now, and especially after 8 Democratic senators and Chuck Schumer threw us under the bus, abandoned our fight last night. I am really in need of some GOP infighting, and that is what we are getting tonight, because Marjorie Taylor Greene and Donald Trump, who have been trading comments about each other in the media, are now facing off, head to head. And it's getting ugly for both of them because Marjorie Taylor Greene has declared war on Trump after he attacked her in the Oval Office. We're going to get into it all, but before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button because it goes a long way in supporting our work. Now, before we get into the fight between Trump and Marjorie Taylor Greene, I want to start with what AOC had to say about why this fight is even existing, because it's really important context.
Here's some tea for you. MTG, people are like, oh my God, she's saying all of these things. Like, what's gotten into her lately? Oh, like she's bucking against Trump. She's bucking against the administration. Marjorie Taylor Greene wanted to run for Senate in Georgia. She wanted to run for Senate earlier this year in the state of Georgia. She wanted to be the Republican nominee for Senate. So she was gearing up for that statewide race, and Trump told her no. Trump said no. And the White House and Trump land shut down Marjorie Taylor Greene's personal ambitions to run for Senate. And she has been on a revenge tour.
These people are selfish in everything they do. It is about the grift. It is about attention. That's what they care about. Never think that a Republican is working in the interest of anything other than themselves or their donors. That's what they care about. Marjorie Taylor Greene did not hit her head. She wasn't visited by ghosts in the night. Nothing has changed. Marjorie Taylor Greene is just upset with Donald Trump, that he didn't give her her blessing, that he didn't decide that Marjorie was up next. That is why she's doing this. Let's always keep that in mind. This isn't a reverse John Fetterman, okay? Neither of these people are good. And by that I mean John Fetterman and Marjorie Taylor Greene. It is obvious why she is going after Trump, but that doesn't mean it's not enjoyable, especially when he fires back, and then we're going to get into what she had to say.
Meeting with the Syrian president earlier today, Marjorie Taylor Greene, who is a big ally of yours, said that she would rather see you focused on nonstop domestic policy meetings here at the White House instead of nonstop foreign policy meetings. What's your response to her saying that, and also saying that grocery prices are up and not down, as you said?
Yeah, so I don't know what happened to Marjorie. She's a nice woman, but I don't know what happened. She's lost her way, I think. But I have to view the presidency as a worldwide situation, not locally. I mean, we could have a world that's on fire where wars come to our shores very easily if you had a bad president. We had a horrible president, and we ended up with Russia, Ukraine, and we ended up with other disasters, too. Don't forget, I put out 8 wars, 9 to come. I think I'll get the other one taken care of, but I put out 8 wars. And look at the damage that Russia, Ukraine has done to us as a country. I mean, we spent $350 billion. We're not spending any money anymore. Now they pay us through NATO. You know, I got NATO to go from 2% to 5%. Well, that's very important. When you're president, you really sort of have to watch over the world because you're going to be dragged into it. Otherwise, you're going to be dragged into a world war. I think if I weren't president, first of all, that war would have never happened if I was president. And if I weren't president, that war could have led to World War III. It won't. It's not going to anymore. But when I first got in, I said, wow, this situation could lead to World War III.
So Donald Trump thinks Marjorie Taylor Greene has changed her ways. There's something different about her. It's a little off. Oh, Marjorie, why don't you love me anymore? Why don't you tweet about me? Why don't you say that I'm the greatest? Again, Donald Trump has his feelings hurt. I'd also like to point out the fact that Marjorie Taylor Greene is right. She's making a correct assessment. I don't want to give her any praise that Donald Trump is singularly focused on foreign policy. Donald Trump isn't focused on foreign policy. Donald Trump likes when other world leaders come to the White House, when they give him little attaboys. And of course, this is the best opportunity for Donald Trump to engage in all of his corruption. When he was at his little fake peace summit, the president of Indonesia came up to him and said, how can I get in touch with Eric and Don about their little drone company? That's one grift. Of course, Donald Trump has taken billions of dollars from world leaders in the form of jets, in the form of crypto. Donald Trump is just after the grift. So Marjorie Taylor Greene is right about that. She was also right to fire back against Trump, which is what she did in this post. Marjorie Taylor Greene snaps back at Trump after he disses her in Oval Office presser. I haven't lost my way. That didn't take long. Rep. Marjorie Taylor Greene, less than an hour after Donald Trump vented to reporters that she has been catering to Democrats, told CNN's Caitlin Collins the president was stone cold wrong. I haven't lost my way. I'm 100% America first and only, Greene told Collins, according to an X post from the cable host. Greene has been increasingly critical of her own party recently, and there are plenty of recent examples to point to. Marjorie Taylor Greene on November 1st, on an episode of Bill Maher's Real Time, bashed Republicans for not having a plan to replace Obamacare. She has also called male Republican Congress members weak, slammed GOP lawmakers for having no plan to end the government shutdown, and criticized the GOP for, in her view, dragging its feet on releasing all the criminal files of sex criminal Jeffrey Epstein. Marjorie Taylor Greene still deserves no credit. I'm just going to keep repeating that. I know I don't have to say it to y'all. I know you understand that, but I just need to make it abundantly clear Marjorie Taylor Greene doesn't deserve any credit. She hasn't changed her mind. She hasn't changed her ways. She's not voting differently. But I do have to say I enjoy it. I enjoy the back and forth. I enjoy the fight. What I think Republicans are going to wake up to very soon is the fact that, of course, Donald Trump doesn't care about them, but he also doesn't care about what happens in the midterms. And now, whether that be because Donald Trump is going to try his best to rig the midterms or because he truly doesn't give a shit and thinks this is the end, Donald Trump doesn't care if you all lose your seats. He's not in the White House to pass legislation through Congress. He's in the White House to keep his grift going. Now, Democrats retaking the House, retaking the Senate could very well, put an end to that. But Donald Trump doesn't really think that way. He thinks he'll just continue to move forward with his criminal operation. My piece of advice to get to Democrats around Marjorie Taylor Greene is maybe don't frame your discussions of these issues around her. I say on this show, I'm not giving her credit, not giving her credit, not giving her credit, but I think Democrats fall into this trap too often of having to get approval from Republicans to frame everything that we do. All of our arguments are kind of played on their turf with their words, with their ideas. And we have to say, well, even Marjorie Taylor Greene is giving us credit for this. Even Marjorie Taylor Greene believes this. It doesn't matter if Marjorie Taylor Greene believes it. I know it is sometimes a useful tool in showing how outlandish Donald Trump's positions are, how insane this Epstein cover-up is. But you shouldn't need the illustrative example of Marjorie Taylor Greene to do that. We should be able to make the case, and we should be trustworthy enough to make the case that this is a clear Epstein cover-up, that Donald Trump is screwing you, that he is grifting billions of dollars, that his focus is on anything but lowering prices, and it shouldn't take pointing to a Republican giving us their approval to make that case. Something that comes to mind is that Reagan ad that was played talking about tariffs. I don't think that we need to lean on Ronald Reagan to make our point. I just don't. Again, I understand it can be helpful, it animates a certain group of people, but if we have to say that tariffs are bad because Ronald Reagan said that they're bad, then we're not creating this affirmative vision of what the Democratic Party is about, right? It's just kind of stealing bits from Republicans and saying, we're going to do a little bit of that, and we're also going to oppose Trump. And then that's not us. And I think there needs to be more us. And I think part of that us has to be, of course, the mockery of Donald Trump, kind of showing that he is ridiculous. And Gavin Newsom spoke about that right here.
No, they said, where's his wife? They want to wash my mouth out with soap without any situational awareness, that they've said not a word about Donald Trump dressing up as the Pope, Donald Trump putting his picture up on Mount Rushmore, Donald Trump sending insane all-cap tweets that are just madness. And so we wanted to put a mirror up to all of this. And we want to do it with a sense of humor, but also a sense of sobriety, that this is the president of the United States. What's been interesting about this approach is it's also clarifying because we pulled the curtain back from the wizard. And we've exposed him, weakness, masquerading as strength. That's the origin story with Proposition 50. Why else do you say you're entitled to 5 seats? Why do you do midterm redistricting to ask Greg Abbott for something? Because you know you're going to lose the midterms. And he is underwater. You guys, you run the polls. Every single category. This guy's historically underwater. He is struggling right now, and the outcome of this election has really exposed him in a way. But we certainly want to keep that mirror up on Trump because I do believe this kind of humor and clarity, I think, is effective communication.
I think Gavin knows exactly what he's doing in holding up this mirror to MAGA, and I think he knows exactly what he's doing when it comes to just driving them crazy, which I think is important. Gavin talks about who's on the back foot, who's on their heels, and who's on their toes a lot. I think that making MAGA play by our jokes, play by our rules, us defining the terms of the argument is really important. I don't want to debate on their home turf. I want to get them angry. I want to get them upset. I want to get them losing it. And I know Gavin is like kind of stealing from the Trump bit here. So you would think that like by nature, we are playing in their field. But we're not. We're stealing it, we're reshaping it, and we're putting them on the back foot, which I think is the important thing to do. And at least really clearly make the case that these people are losers. I'd also say Jake Tapper, maybe you should ask Trump about his insane post, not Gavin Newsom. But on the point that they're losers, Gavin made that point too.
You told the group upstairs, your store, that you told the Democrats that you were rallying with, you have a store, you sell Trump knee pads. Trump knee pads for...
Signature series.
Who? Signature series?
Yeah, sold out at the moment.
Sold out?
Yeah, well, because people have sold out, and because universities have been selling out, because law firms have been selling out, because corporate leaders have been selling out. People are selling out this country. I mean, we're seeing foreign leaders. I mean, what an embarrassment. Poor guy over in South Korea handing out this crown. I mean, it's embarrassing, genuflecting. It's just, so this is unbecoming from a global perspective, certainly from the prism of which we see the world more domestically. Look, the Patriot site's up there for a reason, along the lines of why so much is online, for a reason, to expose this president, to expose this Pravda network, to expose those that are complicit all around him at this moment.
These guys are betas. They're weak, and we should call them out. I'm glad Gavin is. We're going to continue to do so on this show. If you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button. Leave a like on this video. If you stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. Keep on fighting, y'all. Don't let them silence you. And until next time, I'll see you soon.